Hi boys and girls, and welcome to another fantastic episode of Storytime with William D. Sherrill. I might seem a little out of it today, kids, but that's because before the show today, I had someone who didn't like my show very much come to my locker, my dressing room, and they said if I didn't stop the show that I would regret it, and I told them I wouldn't stop the show because you kids love it so much. Unfortunately, they didn't like that answer so much, and explains my face. Anyways, moving right along to the word of the day, which is clit. I'm really gonna get it in this time. Clit is a very, very wonderful thing. You can move it, touch it, lick it, bite it. Anyways, moving right along to a joke. I have a really good one for you today, boys and girls. One time there was a priest. He had long hair. With this long hair, he had to wash it with lemon juice, for he was a blonde and he wanted to keep it that way. One day, instead of picking a lemon out of his refrigerator, he picked up a fish. That fish talked to him and said, "What are you doing?" And he said, "Well, I thought you were a lemon, and what are you doing talking?" And the fish was like, "Well, I am not a lemon, priest with long hair." Moving right along, because that joke you obviously didn't understand. Moving right along to my favorite part of the day, and your favorite part of the day. What is it called, boys and girls? That's right, the Big Book of Wonders. Boy, sometimes I doubt you, boys and girls. I say they're not as smart as they think they are, but then you say answers like that and I know you have to be smart. So why don't we get right to the story? Let's go. Silence. Nothing except the occasional sound that suggested the cage was not empty. The room was dark and warm, filled with the scent of some exotic spice that he could not name. He crept closer, almost shaking with anticipation. His heart was in his throat. They'd finally arrived. His pets, his beloved pets. Would he dare to go closer? Birds of such value should not be hidden, he thought. But the birds were nocturnal. The light would damage them. He was not sure what to do. He had been warned not to go too close, but the suspense was killing him. He had to see them. He crept closer to the cage. The scent in the air was sweet, almost sickly. His heart beat loud in his chest, and still he moved closer. He peered into the ornate cage. The metal bars cool against his hands. The birds must be magnificent to require such a large cage. He prayed that he would get the chance to find out why the birds had been locked away. The cage, he observed, was filled with trees, their delicate branches littered with pale flowers. He reached through the bars to pick one, certain they were producing the scent that filled his head and made him sleepy. A cool pale hand closed around his arm, and his eyes opened wide with shock. "Excuse me, miss, you shouldn't be in there." He stared openly at her. She was like nothing he had seen before. She smiled at him, and her grip on his arm tightened. His heart beat faster. He opened his mouth to say something but couldn't. She laughed and moved closer to the bars. of the cage. He could see her properly now. Her eyes were dark for a moment. He questioned if they were even human, but so enchanted was he by the woman that he thought quickly. By the woman that the thought quickly left his head. Why are you in the cage? Are you trapped in there? He got no answer. The woman just smiled. He went to the cage door and unlocked it. I can't help you. Come here. He saw a flash move in the corner of his eye. He entered the cage, closing the door behind him. He had been told not to go in, that it was dangerous, but the woman could be in trouble. He walked through the trees. The cage was much bigger than he thought. The air was cooler. The deeper he went in. Hello, young miss. It's dangerous. Please let me get you out of this place. He heard a rustle and he turned around. There you are. Let's get out of here. She shook her head. He looked at her, confused. What do you mean? She walked closer to him, pushed him to the ground, crawling over him. She bit his shoulder. He cried out in pain. What are you doing? She held him down as more of them came, young women and young men. He screamed as nails tore across his skin, ripping him open. As he blacked out, he saw the woman lean over the gaping wound in his chest and began to feed. The lights turned on, and the prince walked toward the cage. Peering in, he saw what was left of his friend. He bit his lip and sighed sadly, his eyes filled with tears. I told him not to enter the cage. Those people aren't human. He glared at one of the ugly birds who had returned to pick clean the carcass. He turned off the light, and the bird was a woman once more. Yeah. Yeah, I think he really broke my nose. Yeah. I'm serious. Yeah, I finally got to stop bleeding. I gotta go. Welcome back, boys and girls. I hope you enjoyed that story. I know I did. So, moving along, today we have an interview with a very, very beautiful person. So here he is.
Hi there, William.
What's your name, beautiful person?
My name happens to be Glump.
So, where do you come from?
I'm from the greater mountain areas, where my father always taught me that I need to have big hands and big feet and a big penis.
How long is your... How big are your shoes?
My shoes are currently 35 feet long. Isn't that crazy, William?
Well, boys and girls, that was an awesome interview, wasn't it? I know I liked it. I hope you did too. Moving along to a beautiful letter. Dozen eggs, gallon of milk, butter, some Chex Mix. Oh, that's my grocery list. Anyways, dear William D. Sherrill, that's me. I have been watching your show, and I think that you are not cool. The last time I saw someone like you, I punched them in the nose. In fact, I think I am going to go over to your show today and punch you in the nose, give you a black eye, and make you bleed from your mouth. Moving along, boys and girls. to a phone call. Go with the phone call. Hello? Hang it up. Well, boys and girls, I think we had a fantastic week, don't you? First we had a word that pleases me, clit. Then we had a joke that was magnificent, the best joke of all time. Well, other than that one in episode 3. Then we had a story. What a lovely story. It just flowed together so well and very poetic. Then we had an interview with a man who I think is disturbed. And then we had a letter and a voice thing that weren't so cool. Well, boys and girls, I know I enjoyed myself this week, and I hope you did. So see you next time on Storytime with William D. Sherrill.